punish you on that. So if they can get some early pressure and take some plates and then move the Trist out of that lane once when before the level 6 comes into play, that could be a pretty powerful win condition for them.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this Teemo certainly plays in as well. Can Teemo split push and provide enough pressure in the late game for that pick to be valuable? Early game as well, right? I think Teemo is uh, does scale okay. I don't think it's totally out of this game. So yeah, we'll have to see what we're able to what Team Demacia is able to do with that Teemo pick. And then also, yeah, whether the Victor, we haven't talked much about Victor Ziggs, because honestly, I think that's going to be a relatively quiet mid lane. I think things have gone wrong for both sides if it's not. I think they're trying to keep that lane quiet so that both of those uh, characters can level up and provide their value in later game settings.
Yeah, both of them are pretty item dependent for the bulk of their annoying damages. I think Ziggs comes online a little bit earlier than Victor, so we can maybe
Yeah.
start to expect some shenanigans once he starts to hit level 6, get some of those early purchases in. Um, and he can start looking for some global ults to make fights interesting, but the make some fights interesting, but oh, okay, we are loading in. So we are 3 minutes out from being able to see where this game takes us.
I
But
think we're loading in. We'll get here in a second. Should be able to see. We'll pull up to the top the league client here. There we go. Game is afoot, ladies and gentlemen and folks. We are
okay,
off.
we're off to the races. Let's see where this takes us. The okay, looks like we're beginning with a pretty standard 5 point from both teams. We'll see if any early level 1 shenanigans happen. I think those would tend to favor the tend to favor Team Demacia with the Sejuani on their team, but that's only if there's another person with the Sejuani. Oh, Sej just spotted out, so now she's starting up top lane.
Yeah,
I
the red team
don't.
did place a ward in the pixel in river, so they'll have some information if there's any attempts by Maokai to cross. But I would be surprised if we saw any activity early. Teemo surprisingly not playing in the lane. I would expect the Teemo already in lane, ready to get a good trade at level 1. But we'll see. Maybe he's got something up his sleeve.
Maokai has been spotted, so both lanes do know where the enemy jungler is. Maybe that will allow some of these players to play more aggressively. Um, the Team Demacia bot lane is gonna have to be careful as long as they know that Maokai might be bot lane because he can do some kind of cheese early ganks with the twisted advance.
Yeah, I do think this is when he probably wins out if this is when he finds the Maokai, but not by a great margin. So we'll have to see what Maokai's thinking here. I do think that this early game is going to be pretty slow, but we already see a bot lane of, let's see if we can roll over here. Yeah, they've showed, so they, bot side not pinging anything, but they should know that Sejuani likely started top side because of the bot lane showing in lane.
Yeah, Sedge did not get a leash, unlike the Maokai, so that might change some of the calculus if they bump into each other in the jungle, because Maokai will probably be higher HP, depending on how he chooses to clear.
Oh, looks
You
like they got
see,
level 2 first. They're going in.
oh yeah, they got the level 2 advantage because they did not start in lane. Because Team Zon did not start in lane, so it looks like the Morgana is going to be forced out, leaving the Trist alone for a little bit. Um,
Yeah, they didn't respect that level 2, and so of course the all in from Leona at level 2 with MF over top is going to be very strong. And Morgana forced out, which means Triss is gonna have to do her best to farm this wave.
That's going to be real unfortunate for Morgana for that lane, because Morgana's going to come back. She's still level 1, I believe, so she
Yeah.
is going to be very behind the curve. Looking up in top lane, you can see that Harbinger has successfully crashed a very, very large wave, denying a lot of those minions to the Kayle, who is going to pick up the XP, so her scaling condition is still online, but she's going to lose a lot of gold from that.
And missing a few of those minions, but also Teemo just doing a great job of hitting that blind under tower to make farming very difficult for that Kayle. So yeah, for CS advantage, not as much as you maybe would hope for as the Teemo, but if they are able to continue pushing that advantage, then I think they are in a good position to move towards that win con, which is the Teemos pushing for the win later. I think it's calmed down a little.
Teemo is a split pusher. He can also deny the split push with his shrooms, making it a little bit dangerous to push particularly hard without a red ward, without control wards. So it can put a little wrench in the game plan of how Ziggs Triss wants to play out.
Yeah, I'm curious to see to the bot side here how they're able to push this advantage. Tristana was able to farm back most of the way, and in fact, advantage here.
Buffered the stun or the root from Leona pretty well. Looks like we might see Lyvern is just going to be forced out of lane. He has the TP though, so he might be able to avoid some of the suffering there. The Maokai is caught out now. We see the Sejuani and the Victor chasing him. I wonder if they'll be able to catch him. Doesn't look like he has a way out.
Yeah, looks like
that's a way out. I was wrong.
Sometimes the way out is just doing the loop-de-loop in the other team's jungle. I'm surprised he was able to get out with so much health, but well played to survive, and a little bit of time wasted, but it looks like with everything cleared, junglers back to farming. No advantage either side. Neither has backed yet. So mana low for both mid laners means that the trades there are going to be relatively uninteresting, but we'll see if they continue to just farm it out or try to gain advantages there.
Ziggs does have a little bit of an advantage with his passive, giving him more damage on the manaless trades. We'll see if he
might be coming around for a gank here.
And that's not warded, so okay, Ziggs is aware. I wonder if she was spotted on that river ward?
They did, but there was not. So just either good insight by the Ziggs or lucky timing that they pushed that wave in. And but meanwhile, Sejuani trying to make good use of this pressure that Teemo has in the frozen wave. Level 6 on Teemo.
Looks like Kayle is actually going to be either killed or forced out of lane again here, so she is not having a particularly fun early game.
Yeah, no. Looks like Kayle also already TP'd, so that's going to be another wave loss. Teemo has managed to keep this pressure up, and so that CS advantage has escalated, and we're already looking at a 500 gold lead for the Teemo in the top lane.
Yeah, Teemo chooses not to hard push this as much as I expected, but he looks like he's going to get it in before the kill gets back, so he'll be able to deny a decent chunk of that wave. The cannon's actually about to die, so you're not going to get the usual cannon tanking tower when you crash a cannon wave to make sure the Kayle holds some of that. So she's going to be a little bit unhappy about that.
An interesting thing I'm seeing here is the Sejuani stepping into the enemy jungle with no pressure from the Teemo back. So this could be very risky if the Maokai shows up here with a half health Sejuani. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, looks like Maokai is headed towards that. Sedge is going to see him. She's already gotten the camp and is getting out. So it looks like the heist goes off relatively safely. And we are starting to see the level 6 approaching for the bot lane, which is what we highlighted, is when it will start to get a little bit explosive and favor the Leo MF. So we'll see if they're able to execute on that. They've actually been laning pretty well. Even before that, they got that really good level 1 trade, so Trist and Morg are kind of behind the curve where they want to be.
Yeah, agree. That level 1 was very tragic for the team Zaun. However, they, as you mentioned, recovered well. Tristana, also surprising because Tristana generally has a difficult time clearing under towers, but manages to keep mostly up, but yeah, either through farming more poorly than the red team. She's lost about 10 CS overall.
Yeah, and we're starting to see Team Demacia has a lot more wards on the map. None around what I would assume would be the big objective they'd be going for, which is a dragon fight. So we'll see if they start to try and move some of that vision lineup, or if that is... looks like the Maokai is getting caught out, but he got a good trade on the Sejuani. Ziggs is going to force a flash from the Sejuani, so that's going to be important if they choose to have a team fight. Sedge does want that all-in engage that she's going to struggle without now. Maokai is getting caught out. Looks like he's going to be first blood going over to the Victor. So we're accelerating that mid laner. I know we said we weren't looking for an explosive mid, but Victor getting ahead early can be something. Oh, and we're having another action happening in the bot lane. Tristana gets the kill. Leona's going in on her. She's going to try and trade back. It seems like they're going to be able to force the Tristana out. Oh, Leona gets the kill. The flash is forced out. Morgana is trying her best to keep her ADC alive, but she is not going to succeed. We're going to see if that bomb ticks out. If Moore can pick up the kill and at least get Tristana some of that assist gold. The flash comes out from Morgana. Leona sidesteps, and that is unfortunate. Looks like Leona picked up the kill. Tristana did get that kill. MF is only going to pick up an assist there. So Tristana actually didn't get the kill. Moore got the kill. Okay, so both supports got the kills. It's a little bit sad for the ADCs. We just had a lot of action happen.
And yeah, everybody at the same time decided to make this game more exciting. Actually, while we were watching the bot lane, the Teemo was able to pick up the counter kill on the Ziggs in the red side jungle. And so we were across the map, I believe an even trade, but oh no, sorry. It looks like 3 kills. Yeah, for Team Demacia. So huge advantage.
Team Demacia favored trade. We did see some of that vision disappear that we were highlighting earlier, but Team Demacia is sitting on about a 2,000 gold lead now, so they're pretty happy about that. A lot of flashes blown all around, so I don't know if that's going to dissuade people from going for some of these more aggressive fights. Leona does have Hex Flash, and sometimes that can that disparity that you see can enable some pretty cheese plays. Oh, Ziggs is caught out again. He's gonna get the Sakura Chars off. Looks like he's not gonna get stunned up, so he's just gonna get forced out of lane.
Sedge is caught out now. Oh, the ult comes out.
Looks like a dead Maokai. I did promise we were gonna be seeing a fiesta akin to some of the LPL games, and the teams are try to make me not a liar, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit of
lag or a pause
here. Oh, here we go. We're back. Yeah, actually, really interesting to see this Maokai. Even going back to that red side jungle fight earlier, they really tunneled on that Sejuani. They really wanted that kill, but I think once that Sejuani got out, they just had to turn around, but they wanted to force it really hard. And so the advantages they had gained turned into advantages for Team Demacia, who, yeah, as you're saying, is now 2.5k gold up, 3 kills ahead, has a dragon in their pocket, and is going to continue to push their advantage. As the team that I think we agreed generally had the better scaling draft. Maybe not, well, sorry, that's not true. Has the better team fight, but doesn't necessarily scale better. I think both teams are somewhat similar in their scaling.
Both teams have a similar level of, I think, potential power in their comps, but the way they want to play out the game is very different. So actually starting that dragon stacking up early for Team Demacia is pretty key, because they definitely want to be forcing some of these team fights. And if they can get to Soul Point coming up in 10 minutes, that would definitely be a way to force teams on into those fights that they otherwise would probably want to avoid. I'd also like to highlight Team Demacia got Dragon. Team Zon was not able to trade back Herald there, which is typically what you want to do when you lose out on that Dragon. You use the tempo gained when the enemy jungle has to reset to pick that top lane objective up. So not getting that is going to be rough, especially considering Team Zon wants to be putting some of that side lane threat out, and they haven't been able to get either of the Ziggs or the Trist ahead enough to really start rotating out there and looking for some of those plates in the side.
Kale continuing to farm up, has managed to eke out enough farm to almost equalize with the Teemo in the top lane, so that almost 15 CS lead that we saw before has come down to just about a wave. But yeah, as you're saying, that lack of Herald pickup, mostly from the Maokai getting caught out and being unable to position at either of these objectives on time because of the two deaths that he has. He'll have to clean up some of that play if they want to contest further objectives. If he's getting caught out before these objectives occur, his team won't be able to contest. Especially as the primary CC mechanism, the Morgana Q is possible for one target, but the Maokai ult is really the only CC that Team Zon has to begin these fights.
Yeah, if the Maokai, if he's behind and if he's too squishy to really engage, they're gonna have a rough time, as you're pointing out. I think what I want to and that's a dead Ziggs.
Dead Ziggs, easy kill.
Yeah, he was pushed a little bit far up with no real vision, so now that's gonna be a kill in mid. I think that also means Herald for Team Demacia, so they are just getting everything they want on this map. Maokai's gonna do a little bit of counter jungling attempts. I think he does see Sejuani on that Herald, so he knows he's safe to go for this, but there's not much in the red side bot jungle. There's really only that Gromp and Wolves. The blue buff hasn't fully respawned yet, and I just want to highlight red team, Team Demacia is still making sure to keep their vision up. They have a lot more visibility on the map, which I think is what's enabling some of these picks that they're getting.
Yeah, and specifically deep side vision as well. So you can take a look. The blue side does have a little bit of vision in that bot line, but otherwise it doesn't have vision past the river. Red side, however, has deep vision in that top side, which is the lane they've been focusing generally with Sejuani. The bot side has been able to secure their onlys, but meanwhile, Maokai trying to get something in mid.
Victor's flash was forced. I'm not actually sure if he needed to do that, but
yeah, it's risky with the Maokai ult and the twist, the advance there, but
trade back onto Ziggs. So Ziggs is gonna be the one getting chunked out. It looks like.
Yeah, that Victor advantage is huge, and it's going to make it difficult for Ziggs to do what Ziggs wants to do, which is push in waves and get tower. If he's unable to push waves faster than the Victor, then I think that pick is going to have a hard time having relevance until much later in the game when he's one-shotting towers. So there's always that condition in their back pocket.
There is, and it's a scary condition, but I think it's worth pointing out that Team Zon was not really able to get any of the plates on either the Trist or the Ziggs, which is really what you want with those champions, is to be getting the plate gold early on, get them accelerated, and when you're not able to do that, it feels really bad to be playing some of these tower nuking Yordles. That's a good Morgana hook. Oh, the MF ult is just going to force them out. Maokai's going in, Sejuani's following up, so it's a 3v3. Maokai is getting chunked, the Leona ult comes out, MF is chunking the Tristana. Maokai is going to be the first to fall. Maybe they can trade back onto Leona. I think Morgana got that kill. So again, it's Tristana really losing out on these trades, and Victor's coming in to potentially clean up. Ziggs is following him, but I don't know if he's really able to pose much of a threat. Looks like they're just going to be able to get those 2 kills and maybe pick up a tower here too with the Herald. So yet again, things are really coming up all Team Demacia, and they're going to pick up this second Drake, so that is the other kind of stacking condition we were pointing out, is we have to start worrying now. If they're able to get that soul point, Team Zon is going to be forced into a fight that they're probably not ready for. They're 4,000 gold down. None of their carries are really online. They just want to be in side lanes, and if they're forced into these fights before they're ready, they're really going to suffer.
Yeah, Team Zon is definitely going to have to force. I think they're too far behind at this point to wait for scaling, unless they're willing to really turtle down and try to wait to scale up in their side lanes. But I think right now your hope is to leverage the teleport that you have on the Kayle in the top lane to create a 5v4 situation somewhere on the map. That said, if you do that, Teemo's far enough ahead that he might be able to secure too much for that to be worth it on the other side. So I think team, the blue team is definitely in a position that is difficult, and we'll have to see what they can figure out here to turn this game around.
Oh, I was thinking Maokai was going to be able to get out with that Hexgate, but he is just dead again, and he's having a rough game. He has not really been able to do anything safely. The vision coming out from the Teemo and just general warding from Team Demacia has really denied him any real counterplay to the Sejuani, who's just been in his jungle taking everything from her jungle, and every time he tries something, he just gets caught out and killed.
Yeah, they definitely got to figure out a way to not
Okay,
have their
maybe
Maokai
this is
dead.
a pick on oh no, the Tristana knocked the Sejuani out of the Ziggs ult. That was unfortunate. I don't know if that would have been a kill even if it landed, but
Yeah, Red Side did have the rest of the team on their way to cover that play, so even if Sejuani dies there, I do think Team Demacia gets the pickup on the other side. But yeah, overall, I'd say certainly Team Demacia favors this position. We're still now at a 4.5, nearly 5k gold lead. Individually, we're talking about almost a 2k gold lead in the bot lane. Top lane has equalized for the Kayle, so we'll see when Kayle hits level 16 if that gives some hope to Blue Tide. But the major advantages in both mid and bot lane for Demacia game is going to be difficult for Team Zone to find a way back into this game from this position.
yeah, the Kayle win condition is always something you have to be aware of if you are Team Demacia, because that champion can really take over games when she gets to level 16, and her being able to keep pace is definitely something you're concerned about if you're them. They haven't been able to punish her very much, and despite Teemo's pretty solid early game,
Maokai.
Maokai
Oh, wow. I think he escapes.
does get to walk this one out.
Yeah.
Now I'm wondering if Morgana or Trist is going to get caught out. They're in kind of a dangerous position with that Leona over the wall. Okay, looks like Red Team is going to disengage, so they get to live for now. We'll see if any shenanigans happen. Okay, Maokai is going for something. I don't know if he can...
Yeah, that...
Yeah, it's just him getting caught out again.
Is this Baron? I mean, Baron spawns, no jungler, huge advantage. It looks like Red Team isn't gonna go for it, but
yeah, I don't think they have the damage yet, especially with the lethality MF. He just doesn't really have the DPS to burn it down early. But as we get later into the game, that's going to start to be a concern. If the jungler is spending time in gray screen, you're going to have to start to worry about some of these objectives. I did want to highlight the Kayle is still keeping pace. She's going to have a rougher time now that that tower has fallen. But
the counter, yeah, the hope there, I suppose, would be that if the waves continue to push, this will give more time for Kayle to farm under that safer tower behind. So we'll see if Kayle is able to level up. 216 here in the near future with that wave now pushing towards the bot lane. Ziggs, though, in the bot side while this is happening.
Morgana's getting caught out. Sejuani and the rest of her team is forcing their way in. Sejuani's caught out a little bit, but looks like she's going to be able to walk that one off safely.
Red Team just moving as a unit here, all five, trying to recognizing that they have a very, very strong 5v5 and that they're very far ahead. So they have no reason to risk throwing this game by getting picked out individually. And so they're, yeah, I like this play, moving as a unit, being prepared for this dragon, continuing that dragon stacking onto Soul Point. That is just another tick in their favor. They've gotten every single objective this game. Besides the 2 kills for blue side, not a single kill, or not a single objective for red side, but here we go on a fight.
Okay, they face checked in the bush and immediately die. That is the Ziggs and the Trist, so that's the main source of blue team's damage right now. I think they're just going to have to disengage, and that's not what you want with those 2 champions being the first 2 to face check.
Yeah, sorry, I blinked. Where did Tristana and Ziggs go?
Yeah, they just got melted.
Oh, and they still had MF on top.
That's another kill going over, and now they're on Soul Point. Blue team is down 7,000 gold, and this game is starting to look pretty scary if you're them. Kale is still on track to become online, but even a level 16 Kale might struggle with this, especially since she's not overwhelmingly ahead. She's still only keeping pace with the Teemo.
Yeah, I think the big problem here is that even if Kale manages to scale up, who's protecting the Kale? The Maokai is going to vanish instantly, even if he tries to frontline. Ziggs is behind, Tristana's behind, Morgana, one CC source is protected against, but not 4 of them. I just think, yeah, if I'm Team Zaun here, I'm trying to do my best, but also asking the questions of what do we need to do different next game? You know, how do we turn this best of 3 around? What adjustments do we need to make? How do we get a tower?
And that is the benefit of the best of 3s. You do have the space to make some of those corrections, and reevaluate your strategy. I think one strategy is probably going to be they're going to have to look at their vision game. Maybe consider banning out Teemo, which is not a thing I thought I'd ever say, but he definitely was a source of a lot of that early topside vision, with the shrooms really making it impossible to move through that jungle without getting spotted out, which I think enabled some of the early picks.
Yeah, and those Maokai invades on several occasions really led to the snowball here. They did have a really great invade that almost led to kill on the Swiftwani early, but then they forced before they needed to, and when they were able to turn that kill around, this game has really not looked the same since then. It's not really been competitive since that point, and so maybe they'll say, hey, it was just one mistake that caused the snowball out of control. We can just avoid that same mistake next time and win from the same position. But yeah, my guess is we're going to be looking at a little bit of a different draft next game to see if they can perhaps gain some advantages in lanes, because I think they were able to be punished in every single lane.
And Victor seems to be the one getting to split push this game, which is not what I expected from that mid lane. Ziggs is grouped up with his team. Victor does have TP, so if this Baron hover becomes a Baron fight, he is going to be able to join them. Looks like both teams are just going to walk away, which I think is smart. I don't actually think Team Demacia has the damage to really chunk down a Baron quickly. Excuse me. To really chunk down a Baron quickly, but they might soon.
I just got a little bit of a note that there's some like pixelation problems in the stream. I'm actually going to just turn it over to the regular stream from OBS real quick. So hang tight. It's just going to disappear for a quick second.
So I have
we're back.
Okay. I just see green from you right now. I'm not sure. If
it will be in the other stream mode now. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so click the stream button. Sorry about that, folks. Hopefully you can see it better now. Yeah, so talking back onto this game, we've got, the state of map hasn't changed. We're still looking at a 6K, almost 7K gold lead for Team Demacia. Continued pressure across the map. The Dragon Soul spawning in less than a minute. This is the moment.
This is the Maokai getting caught out again, so they're not going to have him up. After that dragon setup, so he'll be back, but it's gonna be close.
Yeah, I mean, if Team Zaun is able to stall that out long enough, then the Hex Gauge will help Maokai to return in time. But yeah, oh, here's a good cue from Morgana. Are they able to capitalize?
Okay, that's the Teemo flash. Ziggs does look like they're gonna get it. They trade back the Tristana kill there, but Teemo did have... Yeah, I don't know what to say. I was going to say Teemo has some of the gold, but he's actually not a huge threat source there. So that pick is not nothing, but trading it back for Tristana definitely feels bad, because it's now still a 4v5. And
they a lot of... Let's see if that matters.
Okay, Leona is caught out kind of by herself. Her team isn't with her. Maybe this is a chance for them to...
Maokai's
try and-
here.
Okay, the dragon's still burning. Kale is Kaling.
They took it. They stole it.
Okay, the objective bounty steal. So we're starting to see this fight go
Kale's
towards
online.
favor. Okay, that was a huge fight for them. And the gold swing, you can see, it's not fully in their favor, but they picked up about 2,000 gold there, which is not an insignificant
Bounties,
swing.
Yeah, they have pressure now. Bounties on the map. Kale's in the bot lane pushing. They may be able to swing this gold lead. This is exactly what they needed. Triple kill with huge shutdowns onto the Kale, who is now ahead in gold. But this turn Baron,
is still dead. Ronnie's still dead. They have those hex gates, so she will be able to get on the map faster, but it looks like they're not going to be able to do that. They are chunking. Okay. But now Teemo's kind of caught out here. They're going to continue the Baron. They pick it up. Teemo just barely lives, but this has been a very good series of plays from Blue Team here. Now, if they can
gold is almost equalized.
If they can complete the heist and get out, this might be their way back in the game. You know, I was going to say they needed to do some kind of Hail Mary to force their way back in, but... And it looks like they did, not but anything.
Yeah, we'll take we'll remember to come back and take a look at that play in between the games, because I'm really curious to see what led to the huge positional advantage for blue side. Where they did seem to have low health from that earlier fight, and then they were getting hit by the dragon. So they all had about half health, and Kale was just able to come in and easily clean up with that Maokai ult on top.
Kale wasn't even... Kale was level 15 there, so she wasn't even fully online, but she has or is about to. I actually can't.
Yeah, so just completed Kraken with a nearly 3k gold advantage onto that Kale now. So if your team's on, all of your bets are on this Kale. Protect the Kale at all costs.
She seems to be aware that she was in danger, pushed up there, so she's backing off. I think what I want to see now from Team Zon is using that Baron with your Tristan Ziggs to try and force some towers down on the map, get some of that control back, because you are still facing an enemy team on Soul Point. You want to get some of that mid control at least, preferably bot control, so that you can continue to threaten them in those fights. Okay, the Leona is engaging. They're going to immediately burn down Ziggs, but Tristana is jumping into their backline, trying to blow up the MF. They look like they get her. Kale is popping off in this fight. Tristana's dead, but on the other side, Team Zon is just taking over this fight, and they trade back 3 kills for 1. They're going to pick up this mid tower. Things are starting to swing in their favor.
Yeah, this is a great turnaround.
And yeah, Red Team is scattered, so they're going to continue to be able to force their way down.
Can they end?
No,
no way, right? No way.
Maybe they can pick up 3 towers here, though. Because Teemo's, he hasn't completed his back, so it's just Victor defending. They should be able to get this second tower, or this third tower here. Teemo's trying to do a split force them back to their base. He might be able to get this inhib tower, but I'm not sure that's a worthwhile trade.
Yeah, I think this is this has now become very difficult for Team Demacia, who are in a commanding position, because once this Kale is ahead, the side lane is going to be constantly pushing. Because the Kale has teleport advantage, it's going to be very difficult for anyone on Team Demacia to match Team Zon's pressure in the side lane, while also not losing something on the other side. Now, their hope is that their 5-man core is so much stronger than the 4-man core that it just doesn't matter, right? But how far can Kale push while that 4v5 is happening? That's the question that Team Demacia is going to have to answer and make a decision on before this next dragon fight in 40 seconds.
Yeah, this next dragon fight I think is going to tell us a lot, because if they can pick up the soul, they still have that win condition online for them, and especially with a Hextech soul, that can really change the trajectory of how team fights go. That's a lot of damage. You can see they're stacked in this bush. They're waiting for Team Zon to face check. Now, Team Zon did fail this test the last dragon fight, getting the Mal getting the Ziggs and Tristana picked out here. So if they can do this properly this time, okay, they have spotted them out. They've engaged. Kale is stunned, but it doesn't matter. Kale is down, but on the other side, Tristana is free firing, and she is melting some of these enemy champions. And yeah, no, blue team is able to just take the fight again. They killed the Kale, but it didn't matter. This Tristana has maybe scaled enough to still be relevant, and you could see they're picking up another dragon. So that is yet more gold from winning that team fight. They aced them, and yet more stats from the dragon. And the gold lead that Team Demacia had has completely disappeared. Now it's 2K up in Team Demacia, in Team Zaan's favor. So big props to them really starting to turn this game around. Ziggs is going to get a bot tower here. They're marching down mid. You asked if they could end earlier. I didn't know if they could then, but this time they might be able to force down, at least not, if not the end, a lot more of this map for Team Zaan, and really just, or Team, I don't know.
Team Zaan is blue side. I keep messing it up too. Team Demacia is the red side. I think actually it was maybe a little troll by the Ziggs to teleport bot lane there for that tower rather than help them push mid, because I think you're right, they could have at least gotten the Nexus tower. That said, they're sitting pretty. They don't have to do too much. I think also this Tristana needs to send a thank you letter to Team Demacia for just ignoring her that entire fight, because she was just free firing. Nobody was paying any attention to that Tristana that whole fight.
And she was in kind of a risky position there too. She was pretty close to Sejuani and Leona as she was firing, and if they turned on her, that fight might have gone completely differently after the Kale ended up dying. But they do have that mid inhib down, so they're going to have pressure in mid. They have a wave. I think it's going to push out in favor of red side and bot lane, but Team Zaan is the first team to this Baron. They're clearing out the vision. I don't know if they're going to start it up, but...
Yeah, I think it'd be a little risky. They do have TP on the Victor, and again, even from this now behind position, the ultimates from Team Demacia are so strong that it can turn a fight. That's said,
I mean, we saw in that last fight, they landed the ult from the Kale, and they were able to get her down. Okay, we're seeing Team Demacia get chunked and pushed away. The Ziggs ult did come out, but that's a pretty short cooldown, so they're probably pretty happy trading that for being able to force some health bars and force some of Team Demacia away from that pit. Now,
yeah, we didn't talk about it much because the Ziggs was pretty far behind, but at this point in the game, the poke coming out from the Ziggs is enough to often solo keep Team Demacia out. And yeah, Baron.
Okay, Sejuani steals the Baron. So that's a big win for Team Demacia, who was starting to fall behind. She does die for that, but that is huge. So that is really going to slow down the pace of the game for Team Zaan, and probably force us to another dragon fight, which is kind of still the shining light of hope for this Team Demacia, who's really started to fall behind, is they do have those 3 dragons. So if they can get sold, that is a huge influx of stats that can really swing the game back in their favor.
And from this even like gold state, I would actually not necessarily favor either team. I think playing these team fights out is very different for both of the teams, and it'll just depend on how much damage I think Team Demacia is able to get out at the beginning of the fight, because a lot of their damage is front load. They do have sustained damage, but a lot of their major damage source is from getting all of these combined ultimates out at the beginning and then following it up with that sustained damage to kill off the rest of the team. But if they aren't able to get enough damage out in that initial stint of the fight, I think it's going to be difficult. But meanwhile...
Ziggs is caught out. Ziggs is definitely going to go down. That is a shutdown. Yeah, we were pointing out, at this point in the game, the gold swings are not that big. 1K, 2K is pretty minor, but still, it's gonna be hard for Team Demacia to lose Ziggs here. That costs them a lot of pressure. Dragon is also going to be up soon, so that is something they have to keep aware of, especially with Baron giving Team Demacia a push, meaning they're going to have to answer that and find their way to the Dragon Pit.
Ziggs is one of the best characters answering that Baron push, though, so they still have that mid lane cleared out pretty easily, especially with Kale there as well. Ziggs is going to have TP in time to not only be present for the dragon, but also be present to push those mid waves. So I think it'll be difficult for the either team to maintain control. So it'll just come down to this team fight. We'll see who's going to show up.
Sejuani might have stole Baron, but Kayle did just steal the Vision Shrine there, so maybe that will give them a little bit of an advantage. Okay, Tristana's getting caught out. She's not going to go down, but she is going to get chunked out right before this dragon fight.
Yeah, chunk out, but an aggressive flash from that Teemo. If the Teemo is able to get caught out without that flash, we'll see what happens here at the fight.
Okay, they were burning that down. That is just a soul point. Maybe they can try and pick up some kills on the backside of this fight, but that is a little bit unfortunate for... Oh, that Teemo Mushroom is doing a lot of damage. Okay, so one piercing goes down. They trade back a kill, but...
I mean, yeah, I'll take that, right? Soul?
Soul for dead support is a pretty worthwhile trade. And the inhibitor's coming back up. Let's see.
Yeah, red team and blue team both about even in gold at this point in the game. Kayle very strong, but has not been able to really be relevant in these fights. I don't know if that's a matter of positioning, whether the ability for blue team to actually push into the red team is too low, and so Kayle can't participate. But yeah, they need to be able to get Kayle involved in these fights if they're going to hope to turn this game now back around after losing Soul and Baron. Man, I just can't believe they went for that Baron earlier. I shouldn't say that. They obviously should have gone for the Baron, but they had every mean to hold that Sejuani out of the pit. I was surprised they weren't able to send Morgana on the other side and just cue the Sejuani or zone the Sejuani stealing it.
Someone needed to be marking her to make sure she didn't get in the pit there. That was an unfortunate error to make. And it might end up costing them the game if they can't find another way to get a fight on their terms. As you were saying, like, Kayle is struggling in these fights now that they have started to mark her more closely. She's not able to just unload as much damage as she really wants to be doing.
Yeah, and we're talking about, I mean, Kayle has scaling to do. MF is actually full build at this point. So we've got a full build MF, a nearly full build Tristana. Looks like the Maokai's almost there. Actually, ahead in items and gold over the Sejuani, even though that Maokai had a tragic early game.
Yeah, he's been picking up some assists. He's out farming her now, so he also has some more gold from that. We're going to see... I don't know if this game will end up coming down to an Elder Flip, honestly, because both teams have not really been making anything happen.
Oh, the jump didn't succeed, but had flash to escape. I think if that Tristana gets picked, it may be game over. Though, again, Ziggs Kayle is hard to push into. We might just be waiting for Baron. Baron and Elder.
Yeah, I'm not sure without Baron if you really can push into this team's on comp, because they will just immediately make the waves disappear, as you're pointing out with that Ziggs and Kayle wave clear.
Yeah, this is just going to come down to a team fight and who executes better. Can... Uh-oh, we got to pause.
Yeah, I'm seeing comments from the players that it's audio issues. Hopefully they can get those resolved. But yeah, so this gives us some time to talk about the game, and we're in an interesting state right here. 40 minutes in, no team really has a lead anymore. Turrets are equal. So as you're saying, it's really going to come down to how they can execute in this team fight. It looks like Baron is going to be the thing that's coming up right now, and yeah, I think whatever team can pull out a W in this. Okay, looks like they're ready, so we might be seeing the game resume before too long.
Yeah, while they're starting back up, we're gonna take a quick look at the vision here. It looks like red team has actually lost a lot of the vision control that you were calling out is really strong early in the game. They just don't have much vision on the enemy side of the map. And the only place they really have it on the enemy side is in mid lane, in the middle of the lane. If we take a look on the other side, they too don't have too much vision, but they do have deep enough vision on that Baron side to watch the entrance. Here we go, back to the game.
Yeah, so if they can, I think whatever team can get set up here first has a huge advantage. You don't want to be face checking into either of these comps, because if they can lock you down early and chunk you, you're gonna be in a world of pain fighting into them. Because
I do think... Oh, here we go with the lag again. Apologies about that. Meta point, I'm going to try restarting my stream between games because I'm seeming to be having some weird lag issues. So come back after this game for hopefully a better experience.
No, I'm watching the client, and I also just got that lag, so I'm not really sure what that was, but it was not your stream.
All right. Right into Riot, I guess, everybody. I think this is, going to be tough.
Some chunk coming down, the Vigs really burning through some of these health bars here, even of the tanks. So Teemo Shrooms might be about to do the same. Or
yeah,
not.
I do think Red Team wants to be on the objective earlier, but I don't think they want to be on the objective and getting poked out. It's difficult for them to not get poked out by the Ziggs, and again, and even the Morgana, if the Morgana Q hits a single target, they're going to be receiving a lot of damage. But this is a good position for an MF if they don't get
Kale
picked.
is going to catch out this Victor, so that is one major source of DPS gone.
62 seconds on the Victor.
They're spotted out. They're all so low. Like all of these health bars are really just Teemo's already down.
Teemo's gone. Maokai ult comes out.
We're really just looking for another miracle Sedge steal. She's not going to be able to pull it off. The MF ult came out too to try and steal it. And now
no
it
steal,
is...
but the MF did get to steal 2 kills.
Now it is a 3v3. You're seeing, I mean, they still have the scary ability to burn down towers. They're gonna at least get mid in him here. I don't know if they'll be able to trade any side towers, which is I think really what they want to do to try and force some more lane pressure
right now. Yep, they're going for it.
And that ult didn't land. Kale is able to get her ult off before going down. She's stunned up again.
You're not doing any damage, MF! You have GA! Go in, help! Oh no!
Oh no, the MF. Yeah, I mean, this might just be game over. The MF is very chunked, and they have Baron buff crashing into the tower. The Victor's about to go down again. Tristana's gonna get executed, but it might not matter. They still have... Okay, Maokai... Okay, yeah, that's gonna be the end of the Baron push.
Yes, that was a million IQ play by the MF to get low and then draw them into the tower. All right, let's see what the counter engage here is like. The counter push, I should say.
So there are no Baron. I just want to take stock of where we're at. There's no Baron buffs up. Elder buff is coming up, so it looks like this is gonna be an Elder flip. If anything, I think if blue team gets it, that should be game over. I'm not sure if red team can end, but these death timers are very long. So if enough people go down, I think it could be...
Who's going to be at this Elder fight? It looks like everyone from Team Demacia on the red side, everyone except the Maokai and the Tristana, if they start this off right away. They're a little late, but I think red team's there first. Team Demacia looking like they're going to start this right away and try to burn it down.
And not having the smite is going to be really rough.
Yeah, no smite, no Tristana. Tristana's coming. Kale's up. Here's the TP.
That is... Ziggs getting caught out. Dragon's going down. They're going to get this Elder Drake. They might be able to trade back the kill, but... Yeah, Elders is gone. I don't know if they look like they're a little bit too worried about taking that fight. Oh, that is going to burn down. 3 members are just... 2 members are dead. I thought the Ziggs was also going to go down.
I really want Victor to come and TP, but that's fine. We're just going to see what happens here. Does red team stick around?
Blue team is playing as if they are the ones who got Elder. They are the ones posturing up, asking for red team to come into them, and red team is too scared to answer. So they might not be able to really use the advantage they got here. They got 2 kills, but as we talked about earlier, at this point in the game, those gold swings are not as significant because everyone is nearing or at full build, and so picking up 300 more gold doesn't really do anything for you. So you need to be pushing the objectives once you get these kills.
Yeah,
and really,
I really want to see some strong macro. I think the coaches need to come in and talk to both teams about some macro decisions they made to finish these games out sooner. But like, I'm here for it. Maybe don't, because I'm loving these games and the back and forth nature. We are in for a great BO3 here. Let's see who's able to pull this one out and then hopefully get 2 more of these bangers.
Yeah, these MF ults are kind of able to just come out on repeat now too, because she does have enough CDR in the build that I think it's probably at about 50-second CD.
Let's take a
And
look
if you
here.
get low here, you got to worry about that Elder buff burn coming through and executing you.
66 seconds on that MF ult.
Yeah, blue team is either going to have to seed towers here or seed the game. So if they can get back and get... Oh, that's going to be unfortunate. That...
No Ziggs, no Maokai, Kayle ult. I don't think they can come back from this. I think this is GG right here, but let's see. We've seen miracles before.
Yeah, blue team is going to have to pull off a heroic base defense if they want to remain in this game, but I don't think they can.
They don't have minions. They don't have minions. Kayle's still doing major damage. Ziggs back up in 10 seconds. He's going to be here for the minions.
Leona engages, but she has no one to follow up with her, so she's just going to go down, and it looks like the game is going to continue on.
The miracles!
We're at 47 minutes in, and, you know, it was looking really doomed for actually both teams at varying points of the game, but... And I keep calling it out, I keep saying this is going to be the fight that determines the game, and it keeps not being the fight that's going to determine the game.
They know everyone is watching, and they are here to give us the best time today. You know, I've been loving this game. Can't wait to see the next fight, maybe around Baron in 45 seconds.
That is the next big objective, and I think, you know, I every time I've said it, I've been wrong, but I think whatever team gets this next big neutral objective is going to be able to end the game.
I don't know. So far, every big objective has led to one Nexus tower dying. So I think we have 3 more fights left. One Nexus tower each side, and then one Nexus.
That does seem to be how it's been trending so far. Now, these death timers are incredibly long at this point in the game, almost a minute long. So if you die, you are out of here for a long time, which does make these fights... I was saying earlier, the kills don't really matter for gold, but getting someone out of the game for a full minute is an issue. Now, is Tristana gonna get cut out? That looks like she lives, but they do manage to force blue team away from this Baron pit. Maokai's doing his best with these saplings to keep vision and mark the enemy team, but it is a dark and scary place for blue team to venture in. They're gonna have to face check eventually. I think they're gonna have to accept they can't get perfect vision, especially with Teemo here.
Yeah, let's talk quick items before this fight breaks out. We've got full builds on everyone except Ziggs, Maokai. Tristana has a stopwatch, and then Victor's not quite done yet either. So it looks like everyone else is almost. Oh, and then Teemo. So yeah, we got about even items on both teams. Not quite all completed, but getting close.
Some of the Ziggs poke is coming in clutch. He is really doing damage to this Teemo. Leona's getting caught, but it looks like it's just supportal combat. So not much is going to come out there. Baron is burning down. Red team is probably going to be able to get the... Oh. Okay, that is the MF ult coming down. It melts people, but no one goes down. Instead, 2 members, 3 members, 4 members, 5 members of Red Team are going to go down. Only Kayle and Tristana are alive, but that should wait. The MF does not manage to pull out the thing. Blue Team lost their Nexus Tower during all of that, so they are going to have to respond. They can't really capitalize on that ace, so... You know, I said that the game was going to end if someone got Baron, and no one got Baron, so I am still technically correct.
Well, we called it. There was one fight, one Nexus Tower down. Kayle's going to clear this wave, and then we're going to see what happens next.
We are getting, teams are now going to get a spicy choice, though. So Elder and Baron are both going to be up at the same point now. So... this is really going to test the decision-making of some of these teams and see who makes the right call. And I don't know what the right call is here.
Yeah, Elder up, Baron up. Oof.
I think blue team really wants Elder here because their comp, if they can start blowing people up with some of that AoE damage, they really benefit from that. Meanwhile, I think red team kind of needs Baron because they really need to be able to counteract some of that Kale and Ziggs wave clear. Now, Kale and Ziggs are taking this by themselves. This means they don't have Smite, so that can be a little bit risky. Kale is getting chunked down. Yeah, Ziggs and Kale are just going to die after leashing the Elder Drake for the enemy team. That might be game over because there is now none of these major carries. Teemo is going to kill the Maokai. And with Elder Dragon, he just goes. Teemo's going to be able to end the game here. No one from blue team is in the base.
Teemo!
I like the aggressive call from blue team to go for the Elder Dragon with just Kale and Ziggs, but it ended up backfiring. So that is a little bit unfortunate after a 50-minute game, but both teams played that out very well. Yeah. And I'm excited to see what they have in store for us going forward.
Honestly, I totally agreed. Both teams stuck it out through the end, through thick and thin. Both teams had many reasons to be upset at points in this game, yet no one decided to give up. They kept in, they kept fighting for the end, and wow. Yeah, both teams really, really putting their all on the line in this first game, and we've got one or two more in this best of 3 left.
Yeah, I mean,
Team Demacia went in here.
I do want to highlight, like, coming back, Team Zon didn't end up pulling out the win, but they did do a really good job of coming back from an early game that looked just really, really doomed. They were not in a good space at the towards the 20-minute mark there.